I hope everybody's having a fabulous evening. We are starting an early show. I
Hi
decided not
guys.
to do the Ruby today's skit, guys. Ruby will be placed to the side for today's skit because we have a
Ahora
lot
no va
to
a haber novela.
discuss. No hay novela ahora. Es un programa especial. We are waiting for a couple of people to log in with us. I know that we are starting early compared to what we normally start. So, so how was your day, Anita?
I had a good day. My son was very excited because today he watched three movies. He had a lot to eat. He's so hyper, guys. Se comió una bag de cotton candy, so he's like extra hyper.
Hello, guys. Okay, so guys, this is what I want to discuss today. Judges across the valley. Recently, there's been a lot of cases here in Hidalgo County, Cameron County, entire valley, where there's been teachers, administration, coaches that have been having improper relationships with students, or they've been molesting children. And that's where I have like so many questions out here for these judges, guys, on accountability. Because recently, Mr. Fuentes, a former teacher at Mercedes ISD, was arrested again today and was given a bond of 2,500 for a third-degree felony, which is something that really upsets me. There's two victims right there. Two little saying that he showed him the penis, right? Entonces, for a third degree felony, you're telling me that 2,500 is what it's valued at. I understand that they
No.
have to give bonds that are reasonable, but come on. Like, si fueran los hijos de Judge Garza, en chingas ahí tuviera que darle una higher bond y que no salga y todo el pinche pedo. Pero como no son los hijos de él, pues no le
Yeah.
cala, no le duele, right?
Yeah.
And
500 million.
I'm being very blunt about it. Y sé que tiene una camarada that sometime, or she was my friend that lives in that area, Donna, that she was my friend, pero no lo es. It's a HIPAA violation que chance es que le vaya a decir a él, right?
Oh yeah.
Entonces, lo vuelvo a repetir aquí, yo voy a hablar with transparency, with honesty, yo no tengo pelos en la lengua. Al Chile, guys. Aquí, what I'm very upset is that this person, as a judge, failed to do the right thing. Y se los digo why. I was arrested last year for exposing an elected official. I was arrested because I exposed an elected official that was covering up for an individual, a coach at Mercedes ISD, that was molesting little girls. He ended up molesting 7 little girls. I was arrested for so-called harassment because I exposed that elected official. And my bond was set at $5,000. I had to pay $500 to get out. So you're telling me a misdemeanor class B, which is harassment, is equivalent to a third degree felony? It doesn't make any sense here. I think that's what's failing our system. Our municipal court judges are failing our system. Our justice or the peace are failing our system because they magistrate these type of cases.
Yeah.
And that's where it hurts the entire valley, the entire community, if they don't do their job appropriately. Because ¿qué es eso que Coach David Reyes también, and I love Judge Jason Peña. He's a good friend of mine. He is a Justice of the Peace judge over here in Ed Calchosa area. You know, they did a bond reduction, whatnot, but I still feel that those bonds were too low. Now we have two pedophiles, allegedly. I mean, there was sufficient amount of evidence to arrest them out in the street in the community. Y lo vuelvo a decir así, guys. Mil veces prefiero tener un vato que venda droga en la calle que un pinche pedophile out on the fucking street,
Yeah.
right?
Que nuestros hijos corren peligro.
Right, because at the end of the day, like adults, we make the decision whether or not to do the fucking drug. And a pedophile molests a little kid. The kid does not make a decision there of
No.
whether or not he wants to be molested or
Y
not.
les arruina la
And
vida.
you ruin their entire life. You ruin somebody's entire life, especially children, when you do that. And this is where it upsets me because it's a cycle that people don't see it. But I've been sitting back and analyzing all this because I've been very active recently these past few weeks in the city of Mercedes with the school district, and I'm seeing like, okay, this is what's going on. A lot has to do with the child holding back on speaking up because it's so difficult, especially when you come from a dysfunctional household. ¿verdad? Cuando you come
Cuando
up,
más hay un papá
cuando hay un
también.
padre nada
Ujú.
más criando a 6, 7 hijos,
Hijos.
which is normally happens in poverty families, ¿verdad? La mayoría de la familia es muy grande.
Ujú.
Y es donde se batalla, es cuando ves más pobreza, más sufrimiento entre los hijos y es cuando hay más descuidos, ¿verdad? No estoy
Sí.
diciendo que el papá tiene la culpa ni la
No,
mamá
no,
tiene
ni
la
la mamá
culpa.
tampoco.
I feel that at the end of the day it's a father's fault for doing something like that. Pero Ana, in my question to you, si tú tuvieras en esa situación que tu hijo lo tocaría una persona, ¿verdad? En la escuela,
Ujú.
¿tú qué esperarías de un juez?
Que me hiciera justicia a mi hijo.
Okay, and do you think that a 2,500 bond is sufficient enough for a third-degree felony? Que a una persona le haya enseñado, haz de cuenta, los pechos, un pene o whatever.
Ujú.
¿Tú qué crees?
It's not enough. Es como decirle, ten y ya.
Y vuélvelo a hacer.
Vuélvelo a hacer. Yes. It's just a,
It's just a slap to the hand,
Yes.
and they're gonna do it again.
Yo digo que cuando como yo ahorita, yo pienso ahora dos, because what? I have to pay all this amount of money because I have tickets, traffic tickets. So ahora le pienso, oh, my seatbelt. Oh, what's the speed limit? You know, because I don't want to pay that amount of money anymore.
Right. And I know there's certain people in prison that have been accused of this stuff, right? That have been accused of molestation and have been accused of indecency exposure, and some of them are innocent in there. Some people are innocent, está pagando penas or que no son de ellas, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
And not everybody in prison is guilty of doing such crime like this or any other crime, guys. So I go back that it's just a cycle that it starts with, you know, the municipal court judge fighting to do what's right, guys. We have too many pedophiles out in the streets here in Hidalgo County.
Sí, porque sí. Si te fijas, you know, there's that website where you check.
Registered, but they're not registered yet.
Yeah, pero hay, like, parece chicken pox on the screen. Hay bastantes. And y a lo mejor lo siguen volviendo a hacer because that's what they did. Nomás les pegaron en la mano.
The thing is that the reasons, hace cuenta si te arrestaron a ti,
Mhm.
well, they released you on a bond. But because you're not convicted yet, you're not registered. You're not going to come out on that screen as a registered sex offender or a child molester, whatever it is. You're not going to come
So, ¿qué
out.
pasa con ellos?
You have to be convicted first. That means that you're out on bond. Yes, they put all these restrictions on you, but you're still out in the community. That means that if you are such a pedophile,
Ajá.
you might repeat the offense again.
So, vamos a decir, estos pedófilos, salen bond. So, ¿ellos se pueden ir a parquear afuera de una escuela? ¿O todavía no?
It depends on the
Oh,
restrictions
they
that
have.
they have. And that's where it becomes a conflict. For example, if a registered sex offender would live in this complex, all of y'all would be notified.
Ajá.
I will read some other comments.
WhatsApp, pues no andaban. No le entiendo. No le entiendo. Let me go get right.
Unfortunately, the law is too soft for penalties. It's corrupted. Eliahu. Yes, I agree, Isabel. Pizzagate, box. Delia, you must be misinformed. And before you comment, do your homework. I would really appreciate for you to do your homework. Te lo digo bien, de buena voluntad. What I said earlier, and if you would like to know, my number is 956-474-4545. Do you understand? So going back to Isabel Martinez, 10% is 25,000. It's not enough. Actually,
Yeah.
Isabel, it was 2,500 the bond that they said. So that means they only paid $250. That's it. That's it. $250. That's all they paid for. Nothing else. So it's gonna continue going, guys. If us, the people, the community, do not stand up, do not voice, you know, our concerns. That's one of the main things, voicing your concern. If you don't voice your concern, then it's a cycle that you're not going to be able to break. It's a consistent cycle that's going to continue going over and over and over again, and you're not going to be able to break that cycle if you allow it to happen. And that is one of the main issues that I have right now, guys, that people do not make smart choices and exercise their vote, right?
Yeah. ¿De qué están votando en Donna? I'm sorry, I didn't have a chance to talk to my mom, but she said earlier on my life that she was voting in Donna.
There is votes going out right now, which is a runoff election. I don't know if it's a local election that's going on, a city election, or I don't know if it's with Sarah Stapleton Barrera.
Oh, sí.
Because she is in a runoff right now
Yeah,
for
she's in a
Senate,
runoff.
District 27, I believe, something like that. In which I voted for Sarah, by the way, and I encourage everybody to go out there and exercise your vote and vote for Sarah Stapleton Barrera. She is in a runoff election, guys, so please
Okay.
go out and show her support. Conflict is healthy, guys, as long as we can come to a resolution. Is that allowed to work at school for a while? Is he allowed to keep working at a school for a while with a bond? No, he is not
No.
allowed. They fired. The school will protect itself. Once the incident occurs, the school will protect itself. But against, they will do what they have to do to protect themselves. But the child is left with trauma. For example, the little girl who was having an improper relationship with the teacher, they dropped the ball. In other words, everybody found out who the little girl was.
Oh.
Everybody
It's
knows
out
who the
there.
little girl. Everybody, all the students know who the little girl is out, or who it is. The issue here now is there are consequences for the little girl, right? And the consequences for the little girl, there's going to be bullying, which they are.
Yeah.
I had a close friend of hers, and one of the close friends to the mom. The mom does not reside here in the United States. The mom resides in Mexico. Her tia is raising her.
Yeah.
So what's going on now is that she's facing bullying. She's facing trauma. She's facing people making fun of her, jokes about her, and stuff like that. So now it's not only hurting her physically. She got abused, whatnot,
Yeah.
or in proper relationships. She did what she did, but now it's hurting her emotionally, and that's where an issue starts right now. Because not only when you sexually abuse a child or molest a child, you not only physically hurt him, but emotionally a
Yeah.
person is not, ya no quedas igual.
Me imagino que creces con like.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll tell you this, mira, and when I grew up, a lot of these things where I grew up was when it happened to me as a child, right? I was 6, it happened between the ages of 6 to 8, 2 years being molested, right? I always questioned myself. This. If that would have not occurred in my life, would I have been straight? Right? That was always one of my questions in my head. If I would have never been molested, would I have preferred women? As in, I tried women growing up.
Yeah.
I was with women, whatnot, but it wasn't the same. So
Sentías algo que no.
different.
Ajá.
It was something different. So my question was always in back of my head: if that part wouldn't have not happened to me, would I have been straight? Or even to this point, I mean, when you grow up in a dysfunctional household, these were some of the questions that I had. If I were to, if I had both my parents, would I have been straight? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that when you come from a dysfunctional household and when you're molested, there's a lot of things that grow up in your head that you're not functioning the same. And that is why I stand and I advocate a lot for these children because it sucks when you hear stories like this. Talk to your kids or any children you know with the courage to speak up. Hey, okay. Sorry to hear that, G. We're 6. Mia, facts. Okay, guys. So, like I was telling you guys, there it's just a cycle that people have to break. And
Yeah.
usually, I'll tell you this: there, where I live in the colonia, there's probably 2 sex offenders that live there, right?
Wow.
There is, and I won't mention first name, but I will mention last name Lopez, right? The problem here is that a person that's been molested has to break the cycle. You have to break the cycle. What I mean breaking the cycle is that you have to overcome those open wounds in life.
Pero ¿cómo se hace? I mean, porque quedas marcado para, me imagino que quedas, es algo que vas a cargar contigo el resto de tu vida.
No, because you have to adapt to it. It becomes part of your life. You can't say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna let it go and move on. And this is the way I started seeing things in life. I started seeing it as in it happened to me, ni modo. I can't change it, right? But as I grew older, I became wiser and with more knowledge where I see it now and I put it into my life where I use it as a living testimony. For example, and I speak about it because it's important to speak about it Because if there's a child out there or somebody has an issue going on with the same thing, you might be helping them out, right? By hearing you out, giving them the courage to speak up and make the outcome. You know what? I'm getting abused.
Y Jaime, ¿por qué nosotros, no sé, digo yo que la forma en que nosotros somos los hispanos, ¿por qué tapamos esas cosas? Porque pasa mucho en la familia.
It happens a lot amongst the family. Y te
Mhm.
lo digo así because it happened there where I live with the Lopez. It happened, it was a cycle. The father was it's a registered sex offender. Okay, let's read some of the comments. Well, I tell you, childhood trauma changes who the childhood was going to be. It could be the trauma affecting your sexuality, but don't think there is nothing to say for it for a fact. It takes a lot to therapy, years and years to recover from being violated. That man should be in jail. And the Lopez itself, right? The dad is a pedophile, right? Registered sex offender. And now the son is also a sex offender. So my thing is, did the father abuse of the son?
Y por eso él cree que es correcto.
Well, the son is already older. But
Oh.
the thing is, did the father abuse of the son? Because for somebody to get abused, either you lived it or you lived it at home. You know what I'm saying? And usually when you live it at home, it becomes a pattern. You tend to do it to somebody else at home, right? If you don't break that cycle. But when you're out there and you're speaking about it and you're living it as a living testimony and you're spreading the word about awareness, about all these things, about the red flags that you see and stuff like that, and you become an advocate and you become somebody, a spokesman, now you start changing things around. Because now what happened to you start listening it in a very positive way and you start feeding positive energy to certain people that are going through this or have gone through this or are sticking or are going through depression or anything like that in their life because of this trauma, right?
Sí.
So it's like you, for example, you have lupus, right? When you speak about lupus yourself, you speak about what you're going through, your health condition, whatnot.
Yes, lo que se
But you
siente.
do speak about your positive stuff. And you encourage people about, okay, you know what, I do this and it helps me, right? And you give little tips about how it's helping you control it, because you can't get rid of lupus.
No.
So you control it, you speak about it, and it makes an impact in people's lives. So let me read some of the comments here. Unfortunately, these abused kids will not have the courage to come out forward with their truth until they are confident adults. Yes, sweet lady. I agree with 100%. It takes a lot of therapy, years and years to recover from being violated. That man should be in jail. I'm reading here. Well, I tell you, childhood changes trauma. Okay, sorry to hear this. Okay, guys. So there's a lot of things in life that changes a person, right? So right now, I will go back to these judges, right? And these judges, to me, they've dropped and they failed to do their job. As
Yeah.
municipal court judge, as just a justice of the peace, usually they get magistrated to there. They don't put the bonds as high. And you know what it is? Here is the compadrismo system here in Hidalgo County and in the Valley, because they go based on who you know. A lot of these attorneys are actually municipal court judges. And what it is you scratch my back, I scratch your back, you give me a low bond, help me out, it's my client, así chingan. Okay, message retracted. That's it.
Oh no, she put, why are my messages being or my message got deleted or something like that, and then that one appeared.
I don't know. I don't know who's removing messages. Honestly, I don't have a phone on me, so I don't know who is removing messages. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna change all that stuff once I get home. I do want to change the subject real quick. Before I had moderators, I've never had an issue, guys, on people removing messages, deleting messages, and I make the decision. So I'm gonna make the decision on removing all that stuff. You all are free to do whatever the heck you all want to do. If the haters come and talk shit, ni modo. People do not know how to entender that there is things to I guess listen or whatnot, whatever. So I'm gonna go back to what it was at the beginning. Allow people just to talk shit left and right, ni modo. Let's do it like that. So going back to what I was talking about, guys, there is a lot of things that have been going on here in the Valley, and it's gonna continue as long as we allow it to happen. That means when it's time to go vote, you go exercise your vote. Like your mother who resides in the city of Donna, she could go out and vote. When Javi's up for re-election, you go out and vote, and you vote him out. Why? Because it's a pattern. You know, he's milking the school district with $120,000 that he never works.
He's never there.
He's never there. Y le pagan $120,000.
Because I tried to talk to him for
And
a
he's
ticket.
making $55,000 as a municipal court judge. So you're telling me that this guy is doing his job? No. He's not doing his job. And excuse my language, pero la community de Donna también pendejos. Let me tell you that. ¿Y por qué lo digo en esa forma? Was because lo digo de esta forma que la gente de Donna, and you're from Donna, saben que la gente de Donna está bien pendeja because lo roban a ojos vistos y vuelven a votar por la misma mierda.
Yeah.
Vuelven a votar por la misma mierda. ¿Sí o no?
Yes.
It's true.
Porque nos compran Whataburger.
Mira, te voy a decir una cosa. And this is a little bit different, but Fernando Castillo. Fernando Castillo served as a superintendent in Donna.
Uh-huh.
Los robó chingos de feria. Chingos de feria.
Yeah.
Right? And what did the people do? Lo corrieron. El Estado lo corrió from being a superintendent. They voted him as a school board member. So lo está robando otra vez. Like he did with the Wi-Fi. No les puso nada pinche en it.
It goes everywhere.
So, guys, right here, I'll go back to this. How can we break the system, Ana? How would you be able to do something different where you're gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna advocate. I'm gonna vote. What can you do? O what consejos dieras tú a padres que salgan a votar, que hagan un cambio en su propia comunidad? What would you do?
Yo digo que informar, porque muchas veces, pues nomás, el sign, I've done it before, la que tenía más signs, pues, esta tiene más signs, vamos a votar por esa. Voy a votar por esa porque tiene más signs. O este es el más sign, toda esta calle tenía los signs de esta persona. Sin informarme, qué era lo que, por eso cuando empecé, bueno, también porque comes bien a gusto, ya ves que hacen sus parties y te invitan, y ahora voy y me informo, y ok, ¿qué vas a hacer? Acá como en la colonia donde vivíamos antes, necesitamos una calle, necesitamos drainage, y lo hicieron. Informarnos más, tratar de ir, no porque están dando raspas, o porque están más signs, o te ofrecen un Whataburger, o lo que sea, ya irnos por eso, informarnos bien qué es lo que van a hacer, qué son sus planes,
Tony Ortiz did the right thing right there. I like this comment. Sorry to interrupt. Instead of worrying about bathrooms, educating the children. I call it, I can't see. I call it ahorita to tell a story about my close family member, her and her classmate who was raped and more by her fifth grader. Peacocks in the house. Wow. I can't believe that. That's a sad situation.
Yes.
But you want to give out your number, Ana?
Sí, let me put the number, guys.
The number is 956-756-6047, guys. If you lived through this trauma in your life and you would like to share your testimony or give us a little bit of or educate us or inform us on some of the stuff to help each other out.
How can the school district weed him out?
Weed out the. It starts with the superintendent. I'm going to tell you that. It starts with the superintendent. You have to hold somebody accountable. Plain and simple. If you hold the superintendent accountable for what's going on, because it's her administration, then that's where you start cleaning house. You get rid of the superintendent and you start cleaning everybody, which is from at a central office or administration office, and you clean out house. It starts as well with human resources, who's doing the hiring. It's very important to do background checks, to do all that stuff. When you don't do it, for example, I'll go back to Mercedes. They have a teacher who they caught in the campus selling marijuana to the student, and guess what? He's still teaching.
After he did that? They found him?
Yeah, I put his fucking mugshot. Y sabes, viene siendo pariente de la Miss Baking Soda.
Ay, señor.
Viene
¿Qué
siendo
puedes
pariente de Miss
esperar?
Baking Soda, bendito vida. Lo hallaron vendiendo marihuana in the school, and he still works as a teacher.
Ay, sí, do background checks, like Border Patrol.
Read it loud, I can't really see.
Jay, though background checks like Border Patrols or FBI employees, kids are precious cargo. Yes, they are. Our kids, you know, es el futuro. Es lo que we all have to talk in the household and don't be embarrassed about sex topics.
Hello.
Tell my story about my niece.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so this happened. Okay, so my niece is now 28. This happened when she was in 5th grade, and we didn't find out about it till about 5 years ago. Turns out at the time when they were in 5th grade, this teacher was having the two little girls, it was my niece and another girl, stay in class, and he would touch them. He raped them both. We didn't even know until 5 years ago. So there was a time when they went on a field trip to a museum. The museum employees noticed something funny between the teacher and the two girls. She reported it to the school. Turns out the teacher was brought in and asked to resign quietly, but they didn't report it to the police. They never told my niece's parents or the other little girl, and they let this man go off to teach at other schools.
Wow. And you know what? And you know what? It that right there, it falls on the school board members because they allow the superintendent to do internal investigations. I think when it comes down, when the children makes an outcry of being touched or improper relationship, they should hire an outside agent in order to do the investigation, not keep it in house because that's what happens. Shit like that happens.
Years later, probably, I think it was 10 years after my niece was in 5th grade, it came out that this teacher had been molesting two other girls, that they reported it in another school in another city, and that the attorney for those girls in the other city are the ones who started doing research into the other schools this man taught at, and ended up finding my niece on Facebook and asking her about this teacher. It was never brought to our attention, to my niece's parents or anybody.
And I hope
My
your niece. I hope.
never said anything to her mother or to anybody ever, and she probably would have kept it her own secret probably all her life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He did get charged, and just recently he was convicted for the rape and molestation of my niece and her classmate, after he had already been sentenced for these other crimes or incidents, and now, thank God, he is going to be in prison for his life, 106 years.
Wow. That is
Very
something.
sad, and it really trips me out that the school never contacted even her mother.
It's because that's something common that happens here because they allow the superintendent to do in-house investigation, and that is where the issue is as well. Because once they start forming this little circle, this bond amongst each other, they start taking care of each other, and that's why I feel when a child makes the outcry, it should be investigated by an outside agency instead of internal, because the pedophile normally will get away with it.
Yeah, the principal at the school at the time, she was retiring that year, so I think she kind of wanted to just brush it under the rugs to not, mess up her retirement. I don't know, But after she was notified of this weird teacher kid relationship at the museum, was released, and he went off to rape 4 other little girls.
Did your niece ever sue the school district? Because they could sue the school district. Let me tell you that.
Yes, she did do a civil
Lawsuit.
yes, and she did win, and she was compensated. Of course, there's always, however you want to look at it. I don't know if she could ever be compensated for what happened to her, but yes, they did win in the civil trial against the school district. Yes.
Wow. Well, that's good to hear, at least that part. But the other part is a very sad situation because it's hard to overcome things like this, and you're scarred for a very long time, and you got to learn how to cope with it. And once you learn how to cope with it, you'll be able to share it as a living testimony. Because if you're able to overcome this and you share it, it becomes something inspirational in your life, because you're sharing it with people who are probably going with this issue or struggling with it, or going through depression because of this that has happened in someone's life.
Yeah, and she would have probably never ever told anybody. It was a secret between her classmate, who was her good friend, and they never spoke about it to nobody, no other friend, no parent, never, nobody. And they probably never would have. And they both actually had fallen into drug use and drug addiction and all kinds of rebellious things that have affected their life. It affected their life big time. Probably also because they did hold it in. They never let it out.
Right. I think that's one of the main things here. Like when you hold things like that, and for the parents who have children that they start seeing their child conducting different at home, or they start seeing them emotionally doing different things. I think that's a red flag, and they should question them.
Yes, for sure. And it's sad that there are humans out there that do these kind of things, that actually become teachers to do these kind of things to children.
Right, because a lot of these people tend to forget the morals or values or norms, and that's something that's very important. Teachers are supposed to be role models to these children.
Yeah.
They spend quality time with a bunch of these teachers at school, and it's supposed to be an educational area where they're supposed to learn, not go there and it's not a safe environment, and shit like this happens where a child cannot even go to school and be safe anymore. So it's a sad situation.
It really is. It is.
Thank you
So
for calling in
that's my
and sharing your
story.
story with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll keep watching.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Bye.
Bye. So, guys, this is an individual, one of my followers, our followers, who called in and shared their story of her niece, man. And it's difficult to hear these things because, like I said, here in the Valley, it's becoming something norm.
Yeah.
It's becoming like every other day you're hearing of a teacher having an improper relationship with a child, or either dating a child.
On the air or off the air?
Or dating a child, and that is where the issue is at. So again, we have to break these cycles, guys, and it falls a lot on communicating with your child at home, visually, and speak to them, and carry conversations with them, because it's at school here or in Mercedes, it's not the same anymore. Thank you, Marlene. What about female teachers with high school students? And that's what I'm saying. You see that often,
Yes.
where female teachers are having improper relationships by high school students. Hola, Lian. And again, it's just a terrible situation, but it's worse, I feel, for a little girl getting molested than a female, or it's worse that a male
male.
doing it to a female than a female doing it to a young adult. I say 17, 16, it's totally different than a little girl. I think it's harder for a female than a male, That's my point of view. But at the end of the day, they're both pedophiles and they both have to get prosecuted by the law. And ni modo, guys. The people like that should be off the streets. And I'll say it again mil veces. Prefiero tener un pinche drug dealer off the fucking street than a fucking pedophile.
Mira lo que puso esta persona.
I would be willing to pay a little more tax in school taxes to have set amounts of money to hire independent investigation for sexual allegations in school. Yes, that is a very important, and that's right there. It starts with the school's budget. I also had this past week I had a teacher suspended from the special ed department at Mercedes High School. She allegedly abused a special need child. So I just started making calls, exposing this, working hard, and now there is an investigation by an outside agency. She was suspended, and I'm not saying she did the crime, but there is sufficient amount of evidence for her to be arrested. Then she has to pay for the consequences, plain and simple. Monday.
Mira, este es el Jake.
One of my daughters was touched when she was young, and she's an adult now, but that still upsets her very much. At the age of 33 was from someone she considered to be her uncle. I was an officer at the school where I was approached by a couple of concerned students that their classmate was held back in class. I ran to the classroom where I found a door locked. Wow. This is a lot of things are crazy, guys. But guys, we've been on for about 40 minutes today. It is going to be a short show. Anna has things to do. We had a little bit earlier, but we need to clear some things out. Because Delia brought it up. And I hope she's still here with us. I was upset this morning.
I understand.
And I did mention that I'm not going to do the super chat, and then I wasn't going to do my Cash App, right?
Yeah.
That is me.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do it, that's on you, right? And I wanted to clarify here, guys, that Anna's an adult,
Yes, I am.
right? Whatever
44. I'm 44.
44. Whatever decisions she makes and whatever mistakes she makes, you could message her
Yeah.
and you could address it with her.
And thank you for the ladies that have called me today and to see, they were what's going on.
There was no fight. Like Delia thinks there was a fight.
Dijimos nada.
I never
There
called
was no
her
chicken
and
soup
tell her or
today.
bitch her out today. No había nada de eso. It was just me venting out because certain people are stirring up the pot. I'm not going to mention names. And it's just things that I don't like. I mean, I'm not going to get caught in between the mess. And that's what I'm saying. If you have an issue with her, you could
Por
tell
favor,
her.
háblenme mensajes.
And you have received messages. You have received
I
messages.
have.
You have.
Yes,
You
I
have.
have.
You have received messages.
I told you this weekend the messages that I received.
Right. And the thing is that those are things that you have to fix yourself. ¿Verdad?
Yes, I do.
And she has to work on it. I cannot control her mistakes. I cannot tell her, pues párale tu pinche. No, it's her. I guys, and it's not that I'm mad at her or mad at anybody, but it's her. Now, if you want to stir up the pot and start causing conflicts or making assumptions, then you could call me and we could address the issue. Now, if I don't answer people's calls, it's because I need time for myself.
Of
These
course.
past few days, I have
You've
been
been so
off,
busy.
and I have been off my medication for the bipolar.
Chihuahua.
I had been off for 3 days.
Y no fuiste a Rimanville.
No, fui para
I'm
Rimanville.
so happy.
I had been off for 3 days. I wanted to
Yeah.
test. I won't know. I had it in the morning. I was pissed. I'm supposed to pick it up at Walmart today.
Pero, mira, te controlaste estos 3 días. You didn't do anything crazy.
Well, no, but I had my smooth swings. Like,
Yeah.
all in the morning se me fue en un viaje. And last night me fue en un viaje otra vez. So,
Ay, honey.
again, like I said, everybody's, is Ana, Ana was like, ay, chinga. I'll send Jaime a couple of
Links.
But guys, como quiera, guys, I just wanted to clarify that. I'm not mad at Delia either.
No.
I'm not mad at Delia, but I wanted to clarify that I was having a show. When I see when I see comments like that,
Yeah.
you could reserve them towards the end of the show, and I will go ahead and address the issue. Or you could go ahead and call me or inbox me, and it's simple enough to address the issue. I've never said, you know what, I've never avoided to address an issue. I've always been very transparent and spoken about what's going on. And like I said, a lot of the mistakes that Ana has done, I have brought it up to her attention.
Yes.
And it's her who makes the decision whether she still wants to be over there, hearing all the bullshit they're saying about her and her kids. That's her decision. I'm not going to stop her. If she wants to be aware of what's going on, pues es tu jale, ¿sí o no?
Yes. Pero también les quería, you know, no, I promise, si no les contesto luego, ¿qué fue lo que te dije el domingo? Esta persona y esta persona me mandaron mensaje, Jaime, I got upset, I'm not gonna lie, like, no me gustó que me dijeran mis verdades, porque era una verdad lo que me dijeron. Que me dijeran mis verdades, no les quise contestar, Jaime, because I don't want to, you know, go all crazy and get the chicken noodle soup.
Right, but you have to understand that they're bringing it to your attention,
Exactly.
and you might not want to hear it in the way they're doing
Yeah,
it, porque
they're doing
te cala.
Yes, porque
Es la verdad. Pero la verdad, es la verdad.
Yes.
Regardless of
Es la verdad.
uno la caga. So,
Yeah.
si te la dicen de una manera u otra, you're gonna have to,
Sí.
you're gonna have to take it.
Ajá.
And
Y
swallow
fue lo
it.
que hablamos tú y yo, Ana, te van a decir, tienes que tomar. ¿Y por qué fue lo que te dije? I haven't answered, Jaime, porque I don't want to go out crazy. I need time to think, I need time to get my words, y luego les contesto. And that's what I did. So, si me mandan un mensaje, lo que no les guste, si algo no les pareció, o si me quieren decir mis verdades, como en lo que pasó este fin de semana, háganlo. A lo mejor no les voy a contestar luego, pero denme el tiempo para encontrar las palabras, que tampoco, yo no quiero ofender a nadie. Y hay personas aquí que tienen esa confianza conmigo, y se lo agradezco de todo corazón, que me hablen, que me pregunten, oye, Ana, ¿qué está pasando? O mira, yo miré esto, o yo miré el otro. And I'm glad that me and Jaime got to that point. You know, cuando hay un problema o cuando le dan una queja, ¿qué fue lo que me dijiste ayer? Ana, tengo queja. And
for those that want to know, yes, I do bitch her out, not in a very bad way.
No, nunca me ha dicho.
But nunca le digo sus pendejadas, but I do get upset, and I tell Ana, you're doing it again. You're fucking doing it again. And I tell her how it is.
Yeah.
I tell her, you're doing the same shit again. You're going back to what the fuck you were at. Así cuando vas a gain supporters, how are you going to gain trust?
A trust back.
And so that I wanted to clarify. Why did I say earlier today that I didn't want to do Cash App anymore? And I'm going to be honest, why didn't I want Cash App? Cash App has become an issue to certain individuals. And so I decided to say, you know what, I'm going to go back to La Rosada. La Rosada wasn't using that at the very beginning. I'll just do my skits. And así lo dejo.
Are you going to wear your mask?
I'm going to wear my mask. Like La Rosada, who had their mask,
Yes.
the thong, everything. I'm going to
And the
reincorporate La Rosada how it was before. And of course, there's other characters that I'm going to bring along without the Cash App. If you guys want to do it, you guys are going to do it porque ustedes quieren, not because I'm going to put it out there or force you all to do it. Now, monetizing here, I'm not going to do it. The super chat, hay que se quede. If y'all want it back, I don't know how y'all could request it back. Y'all could get it back. I no longer want to do it this way because luego empiezan with, oh, is he doing the drugs? Or he's doing this, or he's doing that. And I will tell you something right here. I got nothing to prove to nobody.
Yeah.
But myself and my family. And that's what really pisses me off. Si uno va a hacer el favor, lo va a hacer de buena voluntad. No lo vas a hacer y luego ruñirme el culo.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Sí, ¿cómo te voy a decir yo, like, oh, ten esta watermelon, Jaime, y luego después voy a andar, oye, Jaime, ¿y las semillas te las comiste o
las
cagaste?
You know what I'm saying? So if it's something that if you guys are going to do it out of the volunteer out of your heart and you are going to send me great.
Thank
Si
you.
yo no lo voy a andar poniendo, ya para qué, ya se acabó todo ese pinche pedo. To me, ya se acabó because it's becoming a conflict where people are arguing. O te mandaron o no te mandaron. Te dieron esto, te dieron esto. ¿Y dónde lo gastaste? ¿Y con qué lo gastaste? And everything. So now there has to be accountability. I guess I have an accountant that's going to have to keep track of what comes in and what comes out. RJ, I'm just explaining everything that's been going on throughout the days. I'm not going into full detail, but it's just that I feel certain things have to change.
Yeah.
Certain things have to change before things fall apart completely. I feel that I have to grab the bull by the horns and put it into it and say, you know what, boom, slow it down a little bit and let's turn the page and let's close that chapter and let's do things different. I'm not mad at anybody, nobody who's been calling me, messaging
Thank
me,
you,
texting me,
Isabel.
or whatever. I'm not mad at nobody. I just wanted to take time to myself. And I wanted
And you
time to
deserve it.
myself. I needed time to myself because I know how crazy I could be. And I don't want to do something stupid and I don't want to say something stupid where it's going to end up affecting somebody else. So mejor no contesto llamadas. Because I know myself very well, guys. I know me that I puedo decir unas pendejadas that I don't mean, but out of the rage, out of the anger, I say shit that I'm not supposed to, and then ni modo, everything goes down the shithole. That is why I was avoiding things.
So, qué bueno que no te hablaron en la mañana.
So I'm actually on my way to Walmart as soon as I leave from here. Me trago la pinche pastel la loquera y se acaba el pinche
Somebody
pan.
was in my patio.
When you're giving something from the heart, you don't ask questions, brag or boast. Why are people doing this bullshit?
Yes.
That's what sets apart from your suegra. You allow people to agree and to disagree. Don't listen to Anna. You are an adult and you should know better. Don't listen to Anna. Don't listen to the Anna. What? Don't listen. I don't know what Rebecca's saying. Breathe in and breathe out. No, I'm great. I'm great. I mean, don't listen to them. Oh, okay. I completely understand, and it's okay. So, yeah, guys, I want to do something different because at the end of the day, we're gonna continue doing this, and we're all here for the same reason.
Yeah, para
we
reírnos
all,
un rato.
let's have joke. And I understand
pasar-
that sometimes they quiero mentar la madre a mi suegra and all this other crazy ass
Yeah.
stuff, guys. But sometimes we have to do it as a skit because you know what, you get tired of the same bullshit que chinga la tuya y escarba la tuya y que tu cieso y mámale aquí y híncate acá que piruja y que backstab y que joto mayor y que el otro saber tooth y que manita chueca y mamadita y todo. You get tired of all that damn shit. So what do? We start making like little skits about it que I found out que manita le metió la mano a mi suegra y que all of a sudden se le desapareció la manita, por eso le dice manita, por eso no trae manita. You know what I'm saying, guys? So we start making, right, no, porque se la tragó mi suegra de abajo y le hizo así. So that's what we want, guys. We want something different than us spreading that, vamos a rezo que la tuya suena, que saca tu madre del pinche pozo y baila encuerada y todo el pinche pedo. Yes, that's great that we say all that crazy ass stuff, but we want to make it into something a little bit more different. What happened?
No, I'm just para verlo los dos. So, I'm glad that La Rosada's coming back with her tongue and her glasses.
Oh, I let my brother bless me.
Hi, Jaime, you see? And I know you don't need to explain to anybody, pero yo he sido testiga, Jaime, cuando hemos estado juntos, ya sea aquí en mi casa o en una parte, y te habla, no nomás tu mamá, te habla tu tía.
My brothers.
Y te dice, mijito, necesito cloro, necesito, and you say, and I've never heard you say, pues mándame para el cloro, o mándame para las tortillas, o mándame,
No,
you
because
do
the
it
money, but the thing is that the money that they help me out here is the money that I use to spend it on stuff like that. Like, and like, see, my mandan $10, $20, that's what I would use it for gas. I would use it to buy food, or my mom needed something, or my aunt needed something, or whatever. And it was utilized in a very positive way. And what really did affect me, and I'm going to be honest, when these individuals started this rumor that I was back doing drugs, it was something that really hurt.
Yes.
Because I've come a long way.
Y como dices tú, es algo que vas a, struggle every day, y para que alguien en un ratito venga y te eche esa tierra encima.
Right.
So I understand.
And the reason why it upsets me, because at the beginning when I went through this addiction and I changed my life, it took a very long time for my family to trust me. I remember I would cry in my room when something was missing. Me iba a llorar because they said que tú te lo robaste. And even though it wasn't me, pero me iba a llorar.
Or maybe las cosas nomás se movieron del lugar y ya no. It's you.
So it was something that finally it changed. A lot of things changed. It was a 360 in my household, and that's what I'm saying. I got nothing to prove to anybody but myself and my family and you all who love me, but the people that are here that have doubts in me, I don't obligate you to be here with me. There's a door, and Dios los bendiga, and I'm not going to be mad if you walk away. You might have your reasons to do it, and great. You might not support me anymore. You might not like me or whatever reason. A mí me vale. It's okay. No voy a dejar de tragar
Yeah.
y no voy a dejar de echar palo y
De ir
que me
al
saquen la
canalito.
guacha y todo el pinche pedo porque me dejan de hablar. All I asked today was give me some time for myself. That goes for the people that were blowing up my phone. And that's it. I'm not mad. And
Honestly, who even has doubts should go.
but I want to thank everybody that was here with me tonight. I do have to reply to my brother who just sent me a message through WhatsApp. He actually sent me a little gift. And I appreciate him. He cashed out it to me, and I love my brother.
Yeah.
And thank you guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I
Gracias
do
por
want to
estar
change
aquí.
things again to what it was at the beginning. And I'm not going to do no more super chat. So I'm going to have to go turn it off. And monetizing, ahí se va a quedar el dinero. No pasa nada, guys. Maybe one day we'll get it when it's actually a true emergency. We'll
Yeah.
get it.
What do you want me to tell Isabel?
What happened?
Isabel dice,
Honey, I have been watching you since you have been going live after you went to the gym. I respect that you watch over your mother. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes.
No,
I
it's the
love
reason
that.
why. The reason
I
why
love
is
that.
because my mom is mi gran señora. At the end of the day, my
Yes.
mom played the role as my mother and father, and she raised 6 kids by herself. And nunca trajo ningún hombre en la casa, nunca se dedicó a la iglesia, se dedicó a sus hijos y todo. Ya de adultos, we made our own decisions. But even cuando andaban las drogas, I mean, yo atendía a mi
Siempre
mom.
estabas al
Ya,
pendiente.
todo el tiempo he estado pendiente. Nunca dejé de atender a mi mom y nunca la dejé de ver. Y hasta ahorita, hasta la presente, guys, I don't really go out. I come here, maybe hang out with the friends for a little bit, but there's always somebody with my mom. My mom's never alone. And so, yo no tomo, no tengo viso de tomadera,
No.
nada. I mean, Ana puede tomar aquí unos, and even if I were to have a drink, no pasa nada because I never had I never had an issue with an alcohol. My addiction was cocaine. I'm gonna be honest, it was cocaine. Snip, 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 mocoso todo el tiempo, y andaba todo prendido, y so high that my
Thank you,
contacts
Sandra.
would fall out.
Wow.
My eyes were dilating so bad because me
Ajá,
salía
sí, sí,
pinche
sí.
contact. Correct. And como les digo, guys, it's
Y a mí me quedé con aquella vez que dije, pues mi mamá nunca nos dejó con nadie. And I was like, so cuando iba a la tienda, Jaime,
my mom nos
nos llevaba a todos.
My mom.
And I was like, so no decía, pues te quedas tú
No,
con
my
tu
mom-
hermano que se quede
No,
con dos.
mi
y yo
mamá
me
se
quedo-
llevaba a todos los hijos con ella, así como
Ah, sí.
los acarreaba con todos. Y mi dad, cuando se fue, los dejó sin carro.
Sí.
So my mom
Caminando.
tenía un orgullo y se fue a caminar de Heidelberg al HEB con todos sus hijos. Y luego de ahí se regresaba para atrás. Because remember, my mom tenía una hermana que se vinieron de México. You
Sí,
know,
sí.
whatever. So they became American citizens, ¿verdad? Pero la hermana esa se fue para Houston, right? So mi mom se quedó aquí. Rest of her family is
Se
in
fue.
Mexico. The rest of her family is in Mexico. So ella tuvo que hacer lo que tuvo que hacer para seguir hacia adelante, que fue una madre ejemplar, una madre sin vicios, una madre que se dedicó a sus 6 hijos, una madre que los enseñó de la palabra de Dios, y una madre que es todo para mí. And I decided to choose my ways of living because those are my mistakes. Como
Yeah,
dicen,
yeah.
yo le daré cuentas a Dios por mis
por lo que tú
errores,
hiciste.
nadie más. Y son mis penas, ¿verdad? Son mis problemas de nadie más. And I want to thank everybody that was here today, Mother.
Sí, mira, léeme a Juan García.
Our mother goes through so much to watch over us when we are all grown. They worry and get after us for our own good. They are uncovered angels in a real form. I'm a mama's boy and proud of it. So am I. Listen to your both your mom. So am I, guys. Pero una cosa, guys, sí les voy a decir. I don't know how a lot of y'all could handle this, que sus madrecitas hayan, se hayan padecido, que ya están allá con Diosito, allá
Yeah.
gozando de otra vida mucho mejor en el cielo. No entiendo how a lot of y'all could overcome such pain and so much emptiness, because not only my mom's my mom, but she's also my best friend. and we communicate about everything,
Ajá.
everything. We talk, and we're very close. So yo no entiendo cómo hay hijos que no ven de su madre, que prefieren meterlos a un nursing home, que no le dan el amor ni el cariño
Yeah.
cuando una madre ha luchado por ellos para sacar a todos sus hijos hacia adelante. And I've seen a lot that, you know, people just don't care about their parents.
Sí.
One thing is that
O
my
le
dad,
pegan.
right, like my dad, to me, he's just a friend. I call him dad out of respect.
Sí.
And I've told him that, si el día de mañana te mueres tú, like, don't expect me to go cry for you, because I don't feel that father-son thing, porque he was never there. I actually associated with him since he was 19, 20. He left when I was 2.
Okay.
So my mom has always been there. And my brother Jesse became my father figure.
So a
because he's
todo
a
le
lot-
pedías tú a tu mamá. Like,
yeah, it was my
ropa.
mom. My mom would provide for all 6 of us ropa, comida, todo en jale. La electricity, techo, todo mi mom. Todo mi mom hizo por nosotros. Everything. And my brother Jesse, since he's a lot older, he became my father figure. So when it was parents' nights, because I played 3 years varsity, 1 year JV basketball, I was working in basketball. He would go stand up with my mom. So that's like how we grew up. Like he was a father figure type of thing for us since he was older, and we respect him, and we still respect him to that point. Like he's at the house, it's like, oh, you gotta, behave a little bit different because that's the way it is. And it's a little bit about my personal life, guys, but I wanted to share that with you guys. So I appreciate everybody that was here with us today. Anna, you want to say something?
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for joining. Y yes, we're still here. Lo bueno es que yo y Jaime sabemos hablar. Si tienen alguna pregunta, ya saben, message me, háblenme. Estaba viendo que alguien estaba preguntando mi YouTube. I don't have a YouTube. It's just on Facebook.
We'll work on that soon.
On Facebook. Quiero ahorita get con Facebook y aprender bien, y luego ya después veremos. Pero gracias, los queremos mucho y nos vemos mañana.
Love you guys, appreciate it. God bless you all.
Yes, they